Every successful leader has this engine, right? A relentless drive that just pushes and pushes. But what if that same engine, the one that got you all the way to the top, is actually the very thing that's creating a ceiling on your potential? In this explainer, we're going to unpack a pretty wild idea that the next level of leadership, well, it isn't about more effort, it's about less. Let's dive in. So here's the journey we're going to take. First, we'll look at what's called the high performance paradox, basically how your greatest strengths can become a trap. Then we're going to draw a really important line between learning and the much more powerful act of recognizing. After that, we'll uncover your mind's invisible filters, the things that are constantly distorting reality. Then we'll get to the fun part, learning how to dissolve the effort that holds them all in place. And finally, we'll see what it actually means to lead from a state of real, genuine peace. Okay. Let's start with something that probably sounds familiar to any high performer. Your biggest assets, right? That intense focus, your need for control, that incredible ability to just grind out a solution, that's what built your career. But there's a point where those exact same strengths, they turn into a cage. Now, it's a really successful, comfortable cage for sure, but it's a cage nonetheless. And it puts a hard limit on your creativity and, frankly, on your team's potential. And that brings us to the absolute core of this whole idea. We've all been trained to believe that effort is the currency of success. You work harder, you get more. But is it possible that the relentless doing, the very thing that got you here, is now the biggest wall between you and where you need to go next?
So to make this shift, we need a totally new mental toolkit. The old way is all about learning, cramming new information in, forcing new habits, wrestling with the old ones. The new approach, though, is about recognizing. It's a state of direct, totally effortless knowing that can change everything in a single instant.
Let me put it this way. Learning is like reading a book on how to be a more empathetic leader, right? You can memorize all the principles, but the second you're under pressure, you snap right back to your old habits. Recognition, on the other hand, is that aha moment in a really tough conversation where you suddenly see the other person's perspective. It's not a concept anymore. It's a direct physical experience, and you just can't unsee it.
So here's the crucial piece. True, game-changing insight isn't taught. It's recognized. It's that aha moment where your entire understanding of a situation just instantly reorganizes itself. It's not new information coming into your brain. It's your own awareness finally seeing the whole picture clearly for the very first time, without any distortion. Okay, so if this incredible clarity is always available to us, what's blocking it? Well, the answer is something we all have, a set of invisible filters that are shaping our reality every single second, and we don't even know it. Let's take a closer look. You can think of these filters as your mind's default settings. They're programmed from a young age to create a stable, predictable story about who you are and how the world is supposed to work. So a filter could be a belief like, I have to be the smartest person in the room to be valuable. Now, that filter is designed to protect your identity, but in reality, it just kills collaboration and any chance for real innovation. And this is how these filters quietly sabotage us at work. We honestly think we're seeing reality, but our filters are like lenses that distort everything. This is what leads to things like confirmation bias, right? Where you only hear the data that confirms what you already believe. Or it creates this huge resistance to change because the filter is always whispering, this is the way we've always done it, and it works. These filters, they are the silent killers of progress.
So how in the world do we get past these filters? The answer is, well, it's the last thing you'd expect. You stop trying. You stop fighting them. The absolute key is to relax the part of your mind that is constantly striving, analyzing, and trying to control every little thing. I want you to just imagine a clenched fist for a second. The struggle is the tension in your hand. You can't force it to open, right? But if you simply acknowledge that it's tense and then consciously decide to relax it, your fingers just naturally unfurl on their own. It's the exact same with your mind. You acknowledge the mental clenching, you relax the searcher that's causing it, and you just allow your awareness to open up. And then you simply notice the calm that was hiding underneath all that tension the whole time. Because here's the real secret. When that compulsive, driving need for answers is finally allowed to quiet down, all the fear and resistance that are tied to it, they lose their power too. You're not forcing yourself to be peaceful. You're just discovering the peace that was already there, buried under all that mental noise. And this brings us to the ultimate goal here, leading from a place of peace. And I want to be clear, this is not about being passive. It's about being so present and so clear that your actions become incredibly potent and precise.
It's the difference between forcing a solution and allowing the right one to just emerge.
We have all been this leader, or at the very least, we've worked for them. The one who carries the weight of the entire world on their shoulders, just constantly grinding, searching for answers. It's heroic in a way, but it's also deeply, deeply exhausting and totally unsustainable.
Now, imagine this leader. This person operates from a place of quiet, grounded confidence. They don't have to have all the answers because they trust their team and they trust their own intuition. Their calmness is literally contagious, and it creates a space where everyone around them can do their absolute best work. This is the leader who inspires, not through control, but through clarity.
And look, this isn't just about feeling good. This state of being has a direct, measurable impact on the bottom line. When you stop wasting all that energy on internal struggles, you suddenly unlock this incredible resilience to pressure. Your strategic decisions get sharper because they aren't being clouded by a desperate need to be right. Your presence becomes more authentic, and your ability to adapt to change just skyrockets because you're no longer clinging to some fixed outcome.
The source material puts this so beautifully. The mind steps aside because it is no longer required. See, it's not about fighting your mind into submission. It's about creating a state of being where the mind's constant striving and analyzing is simply unnecessary. It can finally take a break.
So, if there is just one thing you take away from all of this, let it be this. True, lasting transformation isn't about adding another skill to your resume. It's about subtraction. It's about letting go of all that unnecessary effort and uncovering the powerful clarity that was there all along. And that leaves us with one final question to just sit with for a bit. If you were to truly, genuinely stop searching, stop struggling, and stop trying to fix or improve yourself, what would be left? What kind of clarity might you find in that quiet space?